Okay, 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 okay. Honestly, this is this is just going to be one grand experiment here. Um, just I had an idea on how I wanted to do these little behind the final cuts, and this is going to be, rather than a big production or multi-cam edit that I usually do, just pivot and do something a little different. I have just finished shooting my end of webcams and wanted to plug this in. Ugh, what happened? I'm already messed up because I did not do enough things. Alright, window. Bring all to front. Show. Oh, there's a tool. View. Float on top. There we go. Close that out. It's supposed to float on top now. There we go. Oh. I'm pointing at the screen. I've been... this is exciting. Okay, my name is Krumbine, and if you've never watched any of my videos before, you're probably not watching this one, because this is going to be such a weird deep dive, behind the scenes, final cut sort of deal that only my old followers are probably watching, and in that case, hi guys! I just finished shooting my end of webcams, the Pandemic Diaries, and like I said, I wanted to take this opportunity, one, to test drive this setup and how I want to actually do these kind of like long form vlogs in the future, while showing you like my behind the scenes, how I do things. You know, it's a very weird time in the world right now, pandemic aside, or like everything else aside, because pandemic and Black Lives Matter, and yeah, it's insane. It's really crazy, and just like from a personal perspective, I don't even fucking know what to say or do right now, so... I think we can all relate to that, and I'm not saying that's right, I'm not saying that's wrong, I'm saying I don't fucking know, and it's been a really weird weekend. But I think regardless, there's always room for art and creativity. And one thing that has really stuck in my mind this weekend is, as I'm working on this webcams episode, this big, reboot, this, journey back to this stuff we were doing 10 years ago, I did something very different with this episode, where I kind of just left the door wide open and said, hey, if you want to be in this episode, go ahead and just submit something. And the idea is like, oh, you can just pitch an idea or a song or whatever it is that inspires you or you think would make a fun webcams. Just get on camera and be creative and do it. And I've been very impressed and blown away and genuinely honored by what I received. That's just fucking cool. And I realize I'm talking a lot, and I'm just got this tiny little video, so like absolutely nothing else is happening on the screen. And I apologize. Like I said, I'm test driving some stuff here, guys, while I am thinking through all of it. Anyway, so I shot my... I think there's always space for creative, and I think there's always going to be time for... even in the worst of times, we want to be able to... see, this is... Look... I test my shots out and practice. So these were all this is nothing. This is just all testing of the shots. I shot how long is this? I shot 8 minutes worth of footage and decided something was not going right. So I did another version. I shot this on my Panasonic LX. Let me drop this right over here. This is my trick for importing footage into Final Cut. I literally drag and drop it, and then over here, you'll see your importing media stuff. If you bear with me one second. With my Hulk Rage video, I'm going to circle back around. I know I'm going to trail off a little bit, but again, that's the whole point of these videos. I'm just going to talk at length, as it were. Let me pull this down. Shooting on a shitty webcam, so you can probably use a little extra light. Yeah, that works. So I shot this footage, and I'll just pull it back up right here. It's going to go really badly. So the Hulk video, which you can actually see, I left some of those assets in the background here. The intro to that video had... what was the intro that I shot to that video wasn't stop motion. It was regular video that was just I just reduced the frame rate on using a Final Cut plugin. I can show you that in my behind the scenes for that video. So anyway, that was like one of the first times that I had actually seen the video quality out of this camera. I've used it for video before, certainly, but primarily I purchased this as a photography camera because it has a 1.4 aperture, which is kind of unheard of inside a point and shoot camera. So I really love this. And the point is, when I shot my intro to the Hulk video, I saw how really phenomenally great the video quality was. Let me click into that and mouse out of that, and there we go. And I just wanted to take this opportunity with webcams to shot real video, real proper video with it. I've used this as the B cam for like my short story videos, because it has that little reach, and it like you can see in this screenshot here, it blurs out that background because of that 1.4 aperture. It really just creates that beautiful picture when you set it up correctly. So you're gonna see in this webcams episode, when it's all said and done, like, you're gonna see what this footage looks like, out in the wild in actual practice. So anyway, this is the process here. And again, promise I'm going to circle back around to other things but I just wanted to get this kind of like up and running. So I just plugged the SD card right into the computer, and literally from the SD card right here, drag it into this timeline with everything set up for webcams. And I've already clipped down a couple of people. So there's my buddy Chris. He's kind of taking a little bit of the lead on this one. Let me close this out and do this. Chris Jimmer, that I begged and pleaded, and thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for being a part of this. So many people are making this episode, and I think you are at the top of the list. Jimmer's in it. Maddie. Anyway, let me backtrack a second. If you weren't following the beginning of this process, I basically threw the script up for this episode on my website, and then I announced it on my Facebook and Twitter. Friend me on Facebook. Let's connect on Twitter. It's out there by all means. Then you can get notifications of these things. I put it up here on my Creative Nothings blog. There's a separate category for scripts because it's still Creative Nothings it's like my short fiction and blog and little things. Primarily a lot of short fiction stuff that I'm writing, short stories, but this fit into that category. Anyways, so. What was it? May 13th here. I finished the first draft of the Pandemic Diaries, or the production draft of this script, and I just posted the whole thing on my website as a way to distribute it to the scripted players, but also to all of the other contributors if you wanted to contribute. With that little note, which was this right here, this is how other people are going to be a part of this episode. So what I thought was really cool about this entire process that's going on here, and we are like eyeballs deep in the middle of it, leaning towards the back end of it, is for you guys, anybody who is interested, and by virtue of the contributors, I know people are interested in this. This is a way to kind of follow what the process is from start to finish and draw your inspiration from it. To circle back around, I was blown away by the contributions. I had people submit songs, and so I get people will send me footage, and I don't look at the content of the footage. I will open it up, make sure there's video and audio, and if there's something there, then I'm like, awesome, because that's great. I've got your footage. I'm going to work with it. The reason I don't look at it in depth once it's sent to me is because this is my clipping process, right? Chris sends me, 20 minutes of footage that is then clipped down to 9 minutes. And I think that 20 minutes is that, give or take, right? That 20 minutes. So I'm taking out what I can see as the best takes or a range of takes for a line and reaction shots. I'm clipping down the footage so that I can just work with the essentials. I have to do that for this particular episode. And I'm still waiting on one more batch of footage, but you can see, look at this timeline. And this is my footage, adding my footage to this. We're almost at 3 hours worth of footage for what will probably end up being maybe a 10-minute video. This is what I want to, peel the curtain back on, show those who are interested what it is, so you can see from the script literally every step of the way. I'll get the footage in, I'm going to lay it all out on this timeline, and I start clipping it down. Once everything is clipped down, then I do this really laborious task of a rough assemble, and that's going to have multiple takes in it. Then I'll clip it down to just all the takes that I want and really start what I think is the fun part, which is the actual, editing and making all of that footage and making all those performances sing in the way that I hear it when I'm writing it to begin with. So there's so many cool things happening in this video. Cool things that I never even thought I was going to get. We got, this is what blew me away, Aaron Spencer Little. So yes, my point is I don't look at your footage when you send it to me because I'm going to be pouring over it to clip it down later. So there's no sense in me looking at this stuff more than once, it just gets redundant to watch it too many times. That being said, yesterday when I was building this timeline, I saw Aaron had sent his own song. And you can't see it here, but he's holding a ukulele, I'm assuming a ukulele, and performing a song. And I was just like, wow. And so that's my point. And I think if I had a mission statement, that's kind of what I would be driving at, or if I were to define my mission statement, that's what I would be driving at with these videos and what I am doing with all of this. I expected this from Rob. We expected music from certain people, but then there were other people where I wasn't expecting it, and it was just amazing that these people had this talent that I didn't even know about. People that I'd worked with before, who had contributed before, did not know that they had this talent in them or they had this creative in them. And so my mission statement, my idea in kind of doing the behind the final cut, showing the process, letting you see from the script to the final cut, and then how I did certain things. If there is inspiration there for you, I want you to take it. I am by no means the most. I don't have the most expensive gear. I don't like I said, this is a $500 point and shoot that I might have gotten for $300 or $400. I've shown you how I animate. It's a very loosey-goosey thing. I can, go, if you haven't seen that video, go look at the video. I want to demystify some of it because I think we all have time on our hands. Again, like the premise of this episode of Webcams is like, now's the perfect time for it because we're all stuck at home. Even though, maybe governments don't want us to be stuck at home right now. Please, God, stay stuck at home. I don't want you guys going outside, please. It's not worth it if you don't have to. This thing is not going away. It's still out there. The point is, if there's inspiration to be had, if you can find inspiration in, my low budget techniques, my editing techniques, my, how I do things, please by all means take it. Let me know if you're getting inspiration from it. I want to, I think this is a good, exchange to be having. So, I know that people, because I've had these conversations with you, that there's, life has a way of getting in the way, and it's hard to find time. The shit that I've gone through in my life, I've literally said, what I'm doing right here, this is the most important thing to me in my life. I have to make time for it, and that's why I have this room, and I have space, and I have time dedicated to it. That's it. That's really it. I just wanted to show you these things, show you where I'm at right now with the beginning of this edit. Guys, every single person who threw down to be part of this, thank you so much. There are people who couldn't be part of it as well, and again, the world is burning down around us because we're assholes at the end of the day. We're giant fucking assholes, and that's shitty. And I don't know what to say, and I really don't know what to do. I'm not meaning to be anything profound other than stay safe and stay creative. And yeah.